go.
Okay, welcome everybody to the last class of the Neighborhood Bird Project series. This is going to be not really a class, but a little quiz about owls and raptors from last time, and then we'll go on to do a Gigantico test for a final exam just to see how well we've developed our skills. And I will warn you, there's 70 birds on this on this test, and I had to double check my notes on one of them, so they're tricky. All right, so I'm going to share the screen now, and we're going to start here with bird number one. So what I want you to do as we go through these is, if you can tell anything about the age of the bird or the gender of the bird or what season it might be in or something like that, any kind of other details that strike you, include those too. So this is bird number one. Isn't that a beautiful picture? Here's bird number two. Here's bird number three. Bird number four. Bird number five. Bird number six. Bird number seven. Bird number eight. Bird number nine. Bird number 10. Bird number 11. Bird number 12. Bird number 13. Bird number 14. Bird number 15. Bird number 16. Bird number 17. I think that's the last one. Yep, that's the last one. So let's go back to the beginning. All right, who can tell me? You have to unmute yourself. Who can tell me what this is and why you think it is?
Merlin?
And what makes you say that?
Well, you've got the yellow around the eye, the whatever you call it, the mustache kind of thing there. It's a small falcon shape.
Mm-hmm.
The wings are falcon shaped,
Yep. And why is it
right?
not a kestrel, which is the other small falcon?
Because kestrels don't look like that.
Yeah.
How
Uh,
about that?
so Merlin's, this is a Merlin, and you can see it's grabbed a dragonfly here. Our Merlins tend to be rather dark, so with heavy stripes on the underparts here, and oftentimes on a background of a fairly dark color as well. This is kind of a darkish beige color. And you're right, the falcon wings are real distinctive, long tail, barred. So yeah, this is definitely a Merlin. What about this one?
The sharp-shinned hawk.
And why do you say that?
The gray goes all the way down the nape. I
You're
think
so smart. Yes, that's exactly right. So this is
and
a sharp. Yes?
there's another field mark that I don't know if this is one that we'd use, but the tail's flat rather than rounded.
Yeah, now that one I think can be helpful sometimes. I don't go by it very much because of the way that they hold their tail. So you can kind of see that one of the tail feathers here is rounded and this other one is kind of rounded too. And if this bird decided to fold its tail up in such a way that those feathers overlapped, it would look rounded. So it's one of those field marks that can point you in the right direction, but you have to be a little bit careful with things like that because sometimes it's not that obvious, and it can there's some overlap there as well. So sometimes if that's all you have to go by, and you know it's either a sharp-shinned hawk or a Cooper's hawk. Maybe that's all you have because of the way it's holding itself, and you can't get around to seeing any of the other field marks. So definitely use it as a field mark, but see if you can't find other ones. And another good one to look at is you see these little teeny tiny toes. They're so skinny. They're like little pencils. That's another good field mark. So the Cooper's hawk would have, much more robust toes, and that's an indication of what kind of prey they go after. So these sharp-shinned hawks go after smaller birds, and the Cooper's hawks, as a rule, go after bigger birds. So yeah, but this is the diagnostic field mark right here. You're exactly right. What about this one?
I would say barn.
A barn owl. Yes? Barn. And what makes you say that?
Just that distinctive face
Yeah,
with the long
the long sort
feathered
of, yes.
nose,
Yeah,
quote
that's right.
unquote,
Yeah, that's right.
and the light color and the outlining of the face.
Yeah, all of those are very good field marks. Nobody else has a face like that. So yeah, barn owl. Oops, I'm sorry. What about this one?
Is it a saw-whet owl?
Yes, this is a northern saw-whet owl. Why do you say that though?
Because it's really small and cute. I mean,
So, what would be the other small owl that you might see in these neighborhood bird project surveys?
ooh,
A northern screech owl?
This is it would be a western screech owl.
Western screech owl.
Yes, that's correct. The western screech owls, for whatever reason, have become very scarce compared to the northern saw-whets. I think the northern saw-whets tended to show up more often in our part of the world in migration. The western screech owls have been predated by the barred owls that have taken over, so they're becoming harder and harder to see in Seattle, but they're still around. So when you have these small owls, and actually, if you want to expand your horizons a little bit and start thinking about the other small owls that occur in Washington State, one of the important things to notice is what color is the eye. So the eyes of the northern saw-whet are yellow. Most of the small owls we have are yellow, but the flammulated owl it has black eyes. So that's a good thing to remember. What about this one? Anyone?
Well, because of its attack there, I would just gonna guess a harrier, northern harrier.
That's a good guess, but no, it's not a northern harrier. So let's check out the field marks. We start with the bill and the face. If this were a northern harrier, which could be brown like this guy is, the face would have that almost sort of like outline of circular feathers, a little bit like an owl. And this one doesn't. This one has just a very hawkish face, so that's not gonna. That's a good indication that it's not a harrier. And then we come on down here and we see the wings are outspread, and look what we have here. We have this dark patagial right there. Do you remember what that's a diagnostic field mark for? Anyone?
Oh,
The
red-tailed
red-tailed hawk?
hawk.
Yes, it's a red-tailed hawk. This isn't immature, because you can see it doesn't have a red tail. The tail is barred. But this is a diagnostic field mark in all plumages. And then if we keep on going, we see that there's this kind of little comma here, which is a line of feathers. If you kind of squint your eyes shut a little bit, if this were a rough-legged hawk, this area here would be like a big solid patch of dark, like almost black. So this is a lot of hawks have this, and owls too, so it's not particularly diagnostic, but it's something to pay attention to. This is the diagnostic one. And then if we go down here in the belly, you see that there's a sort of indistinct belly band here. It's not very well shown in this photo, but you can just sort of make it out, which is another diagnostic feature of red-tailed hawks. And immature because, as I said, the tail is barred. What about this one?
Is that the northern harrier?
Yes, is it male or female?
Ooh. I don't know.
It's male.
Male, gray ghost.
Yes, yeah, the gray ghost. These are just extraordinarily beautiful birds. If you are doing your surveys in grassy areas like maybe Genesee or Discovery, and to a lesser extent the Phil, you might see these up close. As they course along and look for prey, they fly close to the ground. But usually, where I see them when I'm at the Phil is in migration, and then they can be kind of high up. But so what I have to pay attention to, because I don't get a chance to see them close up like this very often, is partly is the shape. So these harriers have disproportionately long, skinny wings with this distinct bend in the wing there. That's pretty diagnostic. Even with this one, and in the way you look at it, you can see the round face here that I was telling you about, that why the red-tailed hawk was not a harrier. And then this beautiful gray color. Nobody else is colored like this, really. Northern goshawks can be quite grayish too, but there's a lot of barring. Oops, I'm sorry. A lot of barring on their stomachs here, so that's not what this is. But this picture doesn't show it, but they also have quite long tails. So yeah. So as you're doing your surveys, kind of keep an eye up and see what's coming through in migration as well.
Connie,
What about
so
this
The
one?
females,
Yes.
what made that a male? So the male's the gray ghost. What does the female look like? Just doesn't have the gray face.
yeah.
The females are, we actually have one in this test, so you'll see what I'm
Okay.
talking about. But they're brown and have a lot of stripes and barring and whatnot, so completely different. Who wants to tell me what this is? Why do you say that?
The wingspan, body size, the white below in the neck area, and it seems like he has tufts that are laying down.
Yes, those are all wonderful field marks. So we start in the face, and we see that it's an owl face, very flat. When they fly, they look like sometimes they don't even have a head, that their neck just sort of ends without a head. Yeah, you can just barely see the little horns flattened out there. And then you can see how wide this white area is under the chin. Usually when they're standing up, that's all scrunched up and it just looks like a very thin band, but you can see it's not actually. It's actually quite wide, like a bib. And then oftentimes they'll have this kind of white vest-like appearance here too. That's a little bit variable from one kind to one individual to another. But yeah, the wings are very long and but also quite wide. That's to give them lift when they fly so slowly and so on. So yeah, great horned owl. So what about this one?
Juvenile peregrine?
No, it's not. It's not. It is a juvenile or possibly a female, but not a peregrine. Why is it not a peregrine? Could be, but it's not. No, this is a northern harrier, either female or immature male. So we start at the head here, and you see right away that it's got this kind of round bib, or I should say collar, all the way around it, which makes it sort of owl-like, especially if you're looking at it face on. And that's probably helpful to it as it goes slowly over the marsh or grassy area as it's looking for prey. So it flies a little bit slower than some of the other raptors do, not as slowly as an owl though. So we look at so why isn't it not a peregrine? Oh, you said it was a peregrine probably because of this here, huh? It looks like it has a helmet.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
Yeah, but you have to keep on going. So as we keep on going here, you see these wings are not pointy. They're very broad and sort of rounded at the end if you squint your eyes shut. This kind of wingtip can be a little bit deceptive because, as you see, they can spread their feathers out any way they want to. And sometimes peregrines they'll spread their little wing feathers out as well. But no peregrine would have this broad a wing. See how the wing is it goes from here all the way back to here, and a peregrine would end about here usually. So anything with such a broad wing like that is not going to be a peregrine. And we keep on going back, and then we see that here's this white rump, and that is diagnostic for northern harriers. So, but you see, we don't really have to depend on that. We can look at these other features here as well. So you can't tell the difference between female northern harriers and immature northern harriers. They all are this kind of brown, shades of brown, and with little bits of stripes and bars and all kinds of stuff like that. So usually if you do see a harrier, on your counts, you'll see more of this color than the gray male, just because all the immatures and the females are this color. What about this one?
Harrier,
No,
northern harrier, same bird, right?
no, it's not a northern harrier.
What's that white?
Yeah, this is a Cooper's hawk. So
Oh, that's very well displayed.
yeah, I had to look a long time for a photo like this. But
Well, you got me.
yeah, I got you. Kudos to me. I love this picture because yeah, it does look like a harrier. And I have been in the field with very fine birders, and a bird like this will go by, and the wind will blow these white feathers up here over the rump almost, and people say, "Oh, there goes a harrier." No, you have to look more carefully than that. So we start here with the head, and we see that it's got this black cap. Well, no harrier would have that. Look at this. You see, there's just no sense of roundness there on this bird here. It's a cap, and there's a color break between where the cap ends and the back starts. So that puts us in the realm of Cooper's hawks as opposed to sharp-shinned hawks. And we keep on going back here, and then we get to this little area here, which is very deceptive. And I'm just warning you that when you are looking at at harriers, especially in Seattle where they're really not that common, make sure you've got a white rump that's actually white feathers on the rump that cover the rump, and not these fluffy feathers that are really under tail coverts, which can blow up and completely cover the top part of the tail. So just a warning to the wise. What about this one?
That's the peregrine falcon.
And you say that because,
It's got the hangman's mask, I think is what it's called, and then that really spotted pattern on the underside of the wings and the tail.
yeah, and look at the wing shape too. So you see how pointy the wingtips are. It's a wing that is long, narrow, and pointy at the ends. When you see this kind of a wing shape, you're looking at a bird that is either going to be doing a lot of dynamic soaring, like an albatross, or is going to be really, really speedy, which is what the peregrine falcon is. So yeah, peregrine falcon. Beautiful picture, isn't it? What about this one? Anyone?
Juvenile Coopers.
And what makes you say that?
To whom are you speaking?
Whoever said that this was a juvenile Cooper's.
Streaky underparts, head is sticking out. Not
Yes.
sharp shin, rounded posterior retrocy edge.
Yeah. So when you see something like this go by, one of the first things you're going to notice is the relationship between the head and the wings. And as you see, the head is sticking way out above the bend of the wing here. So that tells you that this is not a sharp-shinned hawk, but a Cooper's hawk. It tells you it's an accipiter because these wings that are so rounded. And if we were to see this bird flapping in real life, the flapping pattern would be quicker than any buteo. It's flap, 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 glide. And then with the sharp-shinned hawk, it's even faster. Flap, 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 glide. So, but we keep on going down, and here we see those undertail coverts that are discreetly under the tail on this picture, but could blow up over the rump as they did in that other picture. Rounded tail, which is helpful in this picture. As I say, I don't go by that very often. But if you really, if you have a stop-action eyes instead of just a stop-action camera, you can actually see these little raindrop streaks like rain running down a window. Especially in the flank area here, and even here. So they're not blobby, round blobs of rain that just sort of bead on your window, but they've already run down the window, and that's a distinction between Cooper's hawks, juvenile Cooper's hawks, and sharp-shinned hawks. So everything about this picture says immature or juvenile Cooper's hawk. What about this one?
The red-tailed hawk?
No, not a red-tailed hawk.
Let's call this one a Sharpie.
And why do you say that?
The head is not sticking out as much.
Yeah, right.
And
That's pretty much the same.
the tail is more evenly ended.
Good one, Elaine. I wouldn't go by the tail on this one, but yeah, this is, so why is this not a red-tailed hawk? That's a good question.
No red tail. No
Well,
red
if it were an immature, it wouldn't, huh?
Yeah, the
No.
banding on the tail is very different frequency or periodicity
Yeah.
to a red tail.
Yeah.
It's the long tail compared to the body too.
Yeah, it's the proportion is wrong for a red-tailed hawk.
Right.
Yeah, so you wouldn't, we don't have to worry too much about making that kind of error in the field because this would be such a smaller bird, and the flapping pattern would not be a buteo flapping at all. So what we have to worry about when we see one of these smaller, one of these accipiters is it a Cooper's hawk or a sharp-shinned hawk? What's the other accipiter? Does anyone know? In Washington State.
Goshawk.
Yeah, the
Goshawk.
northern goshawk is the other one. So we know this is not a northern goshawk. It's just not colored right for that. But our problem then is to tell, is this a Cooper's hawk or a sharp-shinned hawk? And when they're flying in flight like this, the best thing that you can do is to try to draw a line from the front part of the head to the bend of the wing. And if those three things line up, the two bends of the wing and the front part of the head, more or less, then it's probably a sharp-shinned hawk, because the Cooper's hawk would have a bigger neck. This head would be sticking out to probably about here or so, well ahead of the bend of the wings. So I think it would be a good thing to practice this in the field, because you have to develop your eye for it. And these birds are flying, so you don't have a whole lot of time. And it's hard for us to do that in Seattle because we don't get a lot of these sharp-shinned hawks. The sharp-shinned hawks used to be more common in Seattle than the Cooper's hawks. But as Seattle developed and lost so much of its forest, the Cooper's hawks began to thrive and the sharp-shinned hawks not so much. And I believe it's probably because the Cooper's hawks do not mind people near their nesting areas. In fact, they're pretty insouciant about it, whereas sharp-shinned hawks just don't like people around them at all. And so in Seattle, anyhow, the sharp-shinned hawks tend to be only winter birds now, and not in big numbers either. So anytime you see a sharp-shinned hawk, even if you just see one perched, I would, stay on it for a while and see if you can't get it, get your binoculars on it when it starts to fly, and try to develop this sense of how much the head is sticking out. Absent any sharp-shinned hawks in your world, then what I would do is focus on the Cooper's hawks that are so numerous, and you're going to see a lot of them flying, and see if you can't see the head sticking way out. So at least you develop that part of your eyesight. Okay, what's this one?
Ooh, 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 cook for you.
Barred owl.
So what?
Barred owl.
Barred owl. I said spotted owl. No, yeah, barred owl. So yes, we've got all the field marks: black eyes, round head, stripes going vertically. And if this were a spotted owl, the stripes would be going this way. And two little babies wondering what the heck where the food is. So yeah, barred owl, very beautiful bird. What about this one?
Western screech.
And you say that because?
The coloration, the little tufts.
The little
Not
tufts,
real
yeah.
tufts, but the little tufts above the eye.
Yeah, that's right. And you can tell that this is a little owl, so you don't have to, it's not going to fool you into thinking it's a great horned owl, because it's just so tiny. You can see that with the leaves here. So yeah, this is a northern saw-whet owl, and I show you this picture partly to kind of train your eyes to look for these owls, these little owls roosting in holes in trees like this. So you can see how well they match the bark, and they are nocturnal, so it's hard to see them at all. But what I would do is, as you're walking around looking at all the trees in your neighborhood bird project counts, every time you see a hole like this, look inside it and see if you can't see an owl there. And after a while, maybe you will. That would be fun. What about this one? Anyone?
Just from the ears, I would guess a great horned.
Yes, it is a great horn. So I show you this picture because this is a good way to find great horned owls too during the daytime, especially in nesting season. They don't do their own nest, so they take over whatever they can. In this case, it's a crow's nest, and so if you see abandoned crow nests, you can't do that now. I think it's too leafy. But back in February and March, you could have, if you see a little head sticking up like that, or a big head in this case, yeah, it's a good way to find owls. This is a great horned owl. What about this one?
Osprey.
And yes, this is an osprey. So we see this distinctive black and white face, big black patches on the wings, very white in the center parts and so on. Yeah, definitely osprey. And look at the way this bend of the wing swoops in here. That's very distinct for ospreys. I can't think of another raptor that has that kind of swoop in its arm bone there. What about this one?
Bald eagle.
Juvenile eagle.
Yes, this is a juvenile eagle. I was hoping somebody would say a red-tailed hawk because of the belly band here, but no, this is a juvenile eagle. So we start in the bill, and you see this massive bill here. It's just so enormous. Nobody else has that except just the either bald eagle or golden eagle, and we don't get too many golden eagles here. So then you start thinking about eagles and immature eagles. And with all this white on it this way, it's definitely a bald eagle. So that's the last one. All right.
Connie, could you
Yeah.
jump back to the osprey for a moment?
All right.
Does anyone
Yeah, there's one at the nest and everything at
does anyone
the
want
film
to
now.
opine whether this is a male or female by one field mark that leans
Well,
towards?
here's the necklace.
Yes. Thank you.
So
And on that note, we are ending the recording.
okay.